Hey, everybody. Michelle is here again on this Monday. I think it was October 30th. I think, tomorrow is Halloween. And usually a lot of kids, what kids do. They have fun on those kind of days. My face color is all over the place because I'm kind of walking around. So my hue, HUE, is different. And that's with all colored people usually. We have a different hue. That's why it's hard to identify us. Hint, hint. Anyway, I wanted to come back and talk about something that's is very important. Once again, I like to talk about important things. Well, they're important to me, which I mean, hopefully they are important to you, because for me, it's all about the consciousness, baby. That's what it's all about, and about helping people and disseminating properly and doing my share. Because if we can help, we're supposed to help, and my intention is not to harm anyone. That's not my intention. It's to harm. I um I I see no relevancy in harming people. I said something a while back that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be despondent. I'm still feeling something strong about that, and I'm just want to go ahead and put it out again while I'm thinking about it. There's a lot of people that are going to be just despondent. And let me just also clarify too, there are a lot of people that have been despondent for years and decades, for a large portion of their lives. They, some of these despondency, let's look it up, starts in adolescence. And I can guarantee you 99.99% of it starts in adolescence, because that's the time where you are in the crucial, almost the most important part of your development. It's in your adolescence, believe it or not. And also it also starts in when you're in your mother's womb. Your developing starts there, actually. And there's a lot of factors to be considered, and we won't know it until way down in the future about how your mother, or however you were procreated, usually by a female giving birth, but so many factors have taken place with artificial insemination, right? Which is very, 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 I mean, we, let's see, we're going to have a lot of results of things that we had the good intentions. So the intentions do matter, despite what anybody says. If you were acting out of righteousness and you were just doing the best that you can, it does matter. But it doesn't necessarily separate from the accountability and the responsibility. Okay? So, despondency. Okay, where it says here, depression of spirits from loss of hope, loss of courage, confidence. Okay? I want you to pay attention to, and melancholy is similar. Okay? And I want you to pay attention to courage. All right? Pay attention to what I say is courage. I mean, we all have an understanding of courage, right? It says here, let's go back. Courage, also known as bravery, and this is what is said in in a dictionary online that anyone can go to. It says it is the choice and willingness to confront agony, pain, danger, uncertainty, intimidation. Valor is courage or bravery, especially in battle. And of course, when you say battle, that is what's caused our degeneration. Degeneracy is battle. Okay, because it's affected our consciousness, whether it's literally, figuratively, or metaphorically. Okay, now courage is that's a powerful. It's a powerful virtue to have, courage. Physical courage It's the bravery to face, in the face of physical pain, hardship, even death or threat of death. While moral courage is the ability to act rightly in the face of popular opposition, shame, scandal, discouragement, or personal loss. Okay? Now, I bring that up because, like I said, I said a lot of people are going to be despondent about certain events that are going to be revealed in their life, unfortunately. And when I say unfortunately, some people think things are hidden forever, which is that's illogical when you consider erosion. Now, erosion can be literal, figuratively and metaphorically. Erosion, okay, is a literal event. And if you pay attention to it literally, meaning visualize it, it means what? Let's look up erosion, okay? Erosion is the action of surface processing, such as water flow or wind, to remove soil, rock. Okay, that's what it means in a literal sense. Let's see if it has it here metaphorically or figuratively. Because everything has a meaning. Like I said, nothing happens without a reason. So in other words, there's always a cause and effect for everything, always. Okay, and a lot of people want to kind of confuse you with all of that, but it is what it is, right? And all of us are saying that it is what it is, right? But a lot of us are doing that literally. We don't want to apply some figuratively and metaphorically, dive a little deeper than that, and look at that kind of causal effect. Like with the climate, there's a cause and effect with the climate, vegetation, the plates, tectonic plates, that's all over this planet, developing. Everything ties together. You have to always apply all of that in your decision making and in your thoughts and opinions and in your discussions and your conversations, which can turn into be beautiful exchanges of energy between human beings, where it's not about battling people and arguing and debating people and wanting to be right and superior. And there's consequences of human-made erosion to the soil, those kind of things. So if you look at it in a figuratively and metaphorically, it can happen to your consciousness as well. Okay, you could have an erosion of your consciousness that has built up, could have started when you were in your parents, and when your mom's womb, your mother's womb, or was artificially inseminated and placed into the womb, of a female, biological female. Those kind of practices. And then I read here where they are attempting to do it without the female. And, I'll go into that at another time. It can start there, but a lot of it starts in your adolescence, that period of your adolescence, where a lot of developing happens. I think most of your developing happens in your adolescence, or maybe not, Adolescent, if you pick that up, there's a lesson in your adolescence. Okay, it's a period. It has here. Let me see what it says over here. It says it is a traditional stage of physical and psychological development that generally occurs during the period of puberty to adulthood. So that's a major important part of developing into a human being in the true sense of a human being. Okay, it's during your adolescence, right? That's where you ought to be allowed to be an adolescent be in that stage of developing, where in most cases you will be protected. And what do I mean by that? Well, you ought to have your parents there or some type of guardian, right, to structure and help you structure your development and protect you and make sure you're going on the right path, that you are aligned properly. And that's what parents do as well. That's what a guardian does. They kind of make sure they lead you onto the right path. And it's a great opportunity to, discover, okay, who am I for the most part? All right. You're going to have sometimes sexuality confusion. A lot of us have that during our puberty or that adolescent stage. We have we may think we want to be something. Like I had a relative that was wanted to be a veterinarian. Hopefully she's not listening. She wanted to be a veterinarian, and I thought that was fantastic because it was different. I mean, I didn't think it was fantastic that I would do it, but I thought it was different for her to want to do such a thing. But then she ended up doing something else. And I also had another relative that wanted to be into agriculture, and I was really excited when I heard her say that she wanted to be in agriculture. But I don't know what she wants to do now. She's still in her adolescence, actually. So anyway, oops. But so those are very, very important stages of development. Okay, whether it's physical and psychological. It is, during that, it's a period between your puberty into your adulthood. The beginning stages of your adulthood. And so that's where you develop a whole lot of things, and you're thinking a whole lot. You're in fantasy. I'm thinking about myself. I'm sure every other adult will say the same. You're in your fantasies. You're allowed to go outside and play. You go outside and pretend. You pretend you're Superman or Superwoman. You can. We had that kind of space in our backyard to be able to do that. Or you can go down to the parks. We had plenty of parks in the neighborhood. Plenty of places to go. Play, like some kids wanted to play football. There was basketball. I wanted to do that I wanted to play sports, but my parents wouldn't allow it because my mom did not want me staying after and all that, whatever. Because she couldn't drive, blah, blah, blah. Long story, but I did talk about it already. But yes, we had all types of sports in the neighborhood, which was fantastic. Cheerleading, which I wasn't into that. But more so sports of all kinds. Softball, or baseball. That's where our community generated multi-million-dollar athletes, by the way. Okay, so brilliancy and excellence was there in our community, in our culture, on top of everything else. Okay, where people were fighting after school with their fists, people were cursing each other out, people were threatening each other, were bullying. All that was taking place during the adolescent stages of my development and others. Okay, it built us up. It made us, we developed character from all of that. Okay, the good, the bad, the ugly. Like I said, we didn't go up without eating, especially me. All right, because I love to eat. I don't remember a day ever being hungry. Okay, I don't know about the neighborhood, everybody else in the neighborhood, because we used to be a lot, at the park. We would go down there and get free food at the park, too. Okay, we used to get free lunches, free breakfast, lunch in school, all of us. So I don't know if anyone went without eating, when we had that school lunches back in the day. And the food was better than it is now, of course. I don't know what they have now. A lot of people complain about it, but we had good food. I enjoyed it. I didn't miss a meal. Like I said, I didn't miss not one meal. Even my mom would get up and fix breakfast for us in the morning. I still would get to school and eat again. How about that? And I enjoyed it. All right. So that's where you get, I think the bulk of your development is in the adolescent stage. Adolescent development, in my opinion, because that's where you can cultivate and somehow get some ideas of who you are, what you are, and why you are. And there was a lot of free range. We were free range, meaning we didn't need my mom to be there. We usually, because we came from a big family, we usually traveled in groups and by ourselves. It was rare that I would go somewhere by myself. If I did, I used precautions because, there, it created, because we had predators in the neighborhood too, is my point. So my mom would only let us go so far. And if we didn't get home at a certain time, guess what? Guess who's coming to look for us? Okay, my mom. She would come and look for you and wondering, okay, where the hell have you been and why you not home? She knew how long it ought to have taken us to go to one place to another and blah, 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 blah. My mom kept a sense of that, because that's, some women have that intuition, that intuition that they know, okay, when something's not right, and they honor that. Like I said, if you didn't get home at a certain time, my mom would register that right away, and she would yell your name all the way down the street. Okay, my neighborhood will tell you that. My mom will used to yell. You can hear her 2 or 3 blocks away. Ooh, you didn't want her yelling for you, okay? Yeah, I see people out in their Halloween costumes and stuff. Okay, so they're getting ready to do that. So, despondency. Let me just say this. So, in your adolescence, okay, I told you that if something happened to you, okay, sometimes we would imprint that on our brains or in our memories, and they'll kind of stay there, and we'll ruminate based on how many times it happens to you or whatever. I'm just talking about me. So when something happened to me, yes, I probably will remember it, and I'll start ruminating as if I'm reliving it. I also said that I discovered through my investigation of my life, which I suggest everyone do the same, that a lot of things were not as bad as I had made them out to be. Chances are it was all in my fantasy, because we were allowed to go outside and fantasize and create these imaginary friends and imaginary this and that, imaginary worlds. That's just what we were allowed to do, because we had the room in the backyard to just do what we had to do, not allow my mom to be concerned about us, because she knew where we were. If we were at the park, she wouldn't have liked that too much, because that means anything could happen we were out of her sight per se. So that's where you develop yourself. That's where you create yourself. And so a lot of people, it can make or break you in your consciousness if you're not clear and effective about whether you are grounded in reality or not. You still have, even though I used to have my fantasies and this and that and the other, I mean, like I said, I didn't know as an adult until I became adult and started revisiting things and attempting to resolve things that, a lot of it was probably coming from a child's point of view. And it's different. A child's point of view, or even an adolescent's point of view, is different from a full adult. All right? Does anyone agree with that? Okay? So sometimes we may have made things to be more than they were, and sometimes things may not have even happened at all. May not have not happened at all. And so what was happening is that a lot of people, not all of us, but there are some people that had that kind of personality, that parasite, leech personalities that develops in adolescence too. All of this stuff can develop in adolescence. All of these type of traits where they're paying attention to who gets attention and who does not. Okay? Who gets attention and who does not. And some, even as in their adolescence, want the attention more severely and more degenerate than some of these adults are. Some of these adults probably were adolescents doing the same thing, the ones that want all this attention. Okay? Eyes on me. Some in their adolescence, they loved that. Loved the attention it gave them and the feeling they felt. Oh my God, people are paying attention to me, especially if you were sick. You know how it is when you're sick and your mom is bringing ice cream, bringing some cookies. It's something to make you feel good. And so some people have morphed that into an affliction of their consciousness per se, or an affliction of their development, where they just did not develop properly because they were not neutralizing it properly, where, some of it happened when kids are by themselves too long and not enough adult interaction. They're by themselves. They come home, nobody's home, or if somebody's there, Their mom is too busy with this, too busy with that. And if they had a single mother, she was busy with this, she was busy with that. She left the child alone. Here, play with your toys. I'm not saying all. Again, in our culture, there were a lot of single black women in that culture. And like I said, they created brilliancy and excellence, as well as high-paying, multi-million-dollar athletes. Okay, because the black culture was a community. Okay, there was a community effort. It involved the whole community, like they said, a whole village. Okay, that's what a community does, or a culture does. It's like a village that supports everybody. So that neighborhood, that black community was a community. That means that when you walk outside, you saw human beings, you saw people, blah blah blah. It was an interaction and a connection. Some children in all cultures were neglected in their adolescence and did not develop properly. What does that mean? They did not develop properly in how to interact with human beings. Okay, what their moms and dads or whatever did was probably lock them in the house while their parents went out to work or went out to do whatever. And these children may have been left alone, or this child may have been left alone, and blah, blah, blah. Go play with and it was so easy to say, go watch TV. Okay, and they went and watched television. Okay, go to your room. And so my parents, especially my mom, did not allow us to close our bedroom doors. Absolutely not. Okay, I guess as we got a little bit older, yes, but in most cases, our bedroom doors were open. Okay, sometimes they would close theirs, but they did not want our bedroom doors closed. And I understand that. That's why I like a studio apartment, because I like to know, okay, what's behind door number 1 and door number 2. When I had that house, it was 3 bedroom, 2 bath. I wanted to know, okay, who's behind door number 1. So I took the doors off actually on the house. I did. I made it into a big open space. I took the doors off in my house. It looked beautiful because I had it arranged properly. And no one's privacy was invaded per se, but anyway, we'll get off of that. So again, there was a lot of misdevelopment and underdevelopment, and a lot of adolescents developing, which caused them to turn out to be a particular type of adult, a narcissistic, sociopath, psychopath. All that could have been, and I sense was cultivated and developed and contemplated in their adolescence. They thought about that. They thought about it all day long. And I think they also, in that phase of developing, they thought about how they're going to harm themselves eventually, how they're going to harm people eventually. They were having all these fantasies going on in their brains or in their thoughts. And they managed to conceal it because, the video games helped do that, because of their immersement in television programming and video games, So I say all that to say, and I'll say more about it later, that something happened in some of our adolescence that has created the human beings that we are now, right? I'm saying that if you had not worked out any of that stuff that you said it, you alleged or you claimed happened to you, if you're not being honest about that and not coming forward to say, a lot of it was just imagination and fantasy, that it didn't exist, it's going to haunt you in your adult life. And it's going to haunt you in many ways that you may wonder, why can't I get over this particular type of addiction? Whether it's an addiction, whether it's a behavior, whether it's a thought pattern. In other words, we're entering in a phase of where all of this stuff is going to be revealed. Okay, that's the culmination to the age of Aquarius. That's what it's about. It's about opening up all of this illogical, belief-driven, whatever it is, behavior and actions, and coming forward with the truth so that you can Resolve it in your consciousness so you can set your consciousness free, so to speak, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically, and come truthful to yourself. And say, you know what, and be honest about these fake personas and these fake personalities that you have benefited from materialistically, but you haven't benefited from it in a interpersonal relationship wise or any of these other important factors. Yeah, you can have all the property, you can have the whole property, the whole world of property. But I'm talking about something that's innermost being inside of you, where you know for a fact that you have some kind of self-hatred going on there, but you know how to masquerade and pretend otherwise. That is what social media has allowed a lot of people to do, because all they got to do is look at videos of other people, and then they can cultivate and be that person. We do it all the time. That's why some people follow celebrities. They look one way, and then in a couple of weeks or a month, they're looking just like the celebrity. Okay, they've lost themselves in that celebrity, or that influencer, or that person that's getting all the attention, blah, 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 blah. It comes from something that's missing, that isn't missing, but is hidden. And you need to reveal it and uncover it so you can set yourself free, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. So there's going to be a lot of despondency, is my point. A lot of things are going to be forced to be revealed. It's going to be a forceless force. It's going to reveal itself. Okay, and you are going to be exposed as fraud, that you created a fake persona about your life. You created a fake persona about your abuse allegations. You created a fake persona about your educational background, your experience, this or that and the other. It's going to be revealed. That is what's happening. Like I said, we are evolving whether you know it or not. We're evolving in our consciousness, but most people are unconscious about it. And some things do happen unconsciously before you, and like I said, before you know it, you're facing each other. You're facing it, whatever you created. This fake persona is going to stand before you and battle for who's real and who's not. Okay, that's a literal, figuratively and metaphorically. Okay, and I'll share with you one day about how I saw that happening visually with someone that, but anyway, I also caution others to be mindful of someone that is filled with rage. You can feel that rage. You can hear it in their sounds and tones. I've experienced that a couple of days ago on the telephone talking to someone. I experienced and felt their rage. And I heard it in their tones and sounds. And I'm telling you that if I was near that person, and the thing is with this person, I've had issues with them for decades upon decades. So, and I know it's not me. That's why I don't take things personally. I make it impersonal. I know it's not anything to do with me. It's something to do with them and what happened to them in their adolescence. I don't know. Something that may have happened or may have been fantasized to happen. Okay, and now they're struggling to make sense of it and as to why they created it. And so people get angry about that they had these false personas, these false personalities, these false lies, in other words, they created these lies about themselves, and now they're facing it. And so now they're going to be pissed off and angry, and they're going to be taking it out on other people, okay, and try to harm other people for them being faced with it, because you will be. It has to be resolved. So it shows itself up in rage. It shows itself up in addictions. It shows itself up in all sorts of what they call an imbalance, in an imbalanced fashion, where you're going off, you're going off on people for no reason, or you become severely depressed and you don't know why. Why am I depressed? Why I can't get out of bed? It's going to start happening more and more and more and more. And I sense and receive it. So I say to others that are helping, because I'm a helper, be safe when you are attempting to help people and distance yourself from that. Do not attempt to take it on by yourself. Just distance yourself from it. Keep yourself safe from it, and let it be. Okay, and share with someone that that's what's happening, that you had this exchange with somebody, and you felt that rage in their voice. I did it when it happened to me. I immediately called a couple of people and let them know and warned them. Okay, because it's about self-preservation for me, and I wanted to be self-preservation for others. So we have that obligation. If we know that, at least I'm videoing it. I know a lot of people have called the police when stuff starts going off, and then, the police claims that their hands are tied. I don't know, and it's true. What can you do really when, yes, you'll receive a threat. Okay, you can monitor it, but a lot of these people are smart. They know that certain things expire, whether you have some type of restraining order. They know those things expire. And, and the thing about restraining orders, so many people know how to hack into computers, hack into cell phones, so that they know where you are. They know how to find you. So that's why it's about self-preservation, self-defense. If you need to have a weapon, have a weapon. Have some training on something to protect yourself. It's going to be happening a lot more than a lot of people are recognizing or anticipating, and a lot of people are in delusion about it. Again, if you sense and receive something from somebody that you know, whether it's a family member, a friend, an ex, a neighbor, a stranger, report it to somebody. I videotape it. I'm not concerned about me. I'm not. But I made it clear to people that know this person. Just be aware. This person is going through some rage, and it usually happens around this time of the year, around the holidays. For some reason, people start getting into this rage, and they want to blame other people for that. And it usually it's their fault, but they want to blame people. It's your fault that I'm failing. It's your fault that I'm miserable. People do that, and especially with if you were involved with them in an intimate relationship. Okay, and and usually in those type of bonding and partnerships, you share everything with each other, right? You think that's what you're supposed to do, is share your most intimate thoughts and feelings and stuff like that. And that's why I say loyalty is important. Okay, loyalty, support, to be there and say you're going to support me and be there through thick and thin. Like I said, create your own vows of whatever you want in a partnership with someone. And make sure you put in there what you won't tolerate. And make sure you walk the talk as well. Okay, and don't put yourself in any danger. It's not worth it. If you know this person is a narcissistic, if you got involved with a narcissistic person, I can guarantee you they will always, forever be a narcissistic person. And if you come in there thinking, okay, you're going to change that person, chances are you're not going to make it. And a lot of people are not going to know that because what? You won't be alive anymore. Okay? You cannot change a narcissistic person. I just want to make that clear and effective as well. Test it out for yourself. Many people have had experiences with that. I have. And I don't dare ever attempt to even talk to those people anymore or be around them. We all have had that kind of experience, whether it's a co-worker, whether it's a manager, whether it's somebody you were married to, or whatever. Okay, so protect yourself, look out for yourself, look out for others, share appropriately, don't be, what's that word? Crime wolf. I think that's what they call it. Just be, when there's danger. And so again, if you have dealt with a narcissistic person, they will always be a narcissistic person. You are delusional, however, if you think you can go back in there and change them. That's where you're delusional. And that's even with psychiatrists, psychologists, intimate partners, family, friends, the like. Okay? So I hope you enjoy what I've said based on my theories and opinions. I want to send peace and love to everyone all over the stars and moon and mountains. And trust me, I will be back.